I'm really excited because now we're going to hear from Hannah Greenshields. She's not from Utah, everyone. She is the co-founder at the food farm on the central coast of New South Wales in Australia. She's a first-generation regenerative farmer who focuses on growing seasonal produce while prioritizing soil health, biodiversity, and strong connections with her local community. She's a farmer storyteller at our upcoming iteration of this very event in Adelaide, Australia at the Adelaide Fringe Festival next month. I am so excited to welcome her to the stage. Please give Hannah a huge round of applause.
G'day. I'm Hannah, your Aussie farmer and opera singer for tonight. And I'd love to talk to you about resonance. Resonance happens when breath moves through the body and it becomes alive. When there's tension, the song can get louder, the sound can get louder, but it becomes less alive. And that's the same way that soil works. On our farm, we have a beautiful ecosystem of microbes, fungi, worms, humans and animals, all working together in perfect, resonant coherence. You might be wondering how an opera singer becomes a farmer. And it all started in 2020 when I was on my first ever regional tour, my first ever professional gig. I had the leading role and it got cut short because of COVID. And so, like a lot of people at the time, I had to pivot. My partner Tim and I had always had this innate want to grow food, but neither of us had grown up in farming or come from farming backgrounds, and we had no land. So we decided to lease a small plot of land and we planted something that no one else had ever grown in the area before: potatoes. We had about 1/4 of an acre that we leased, and we planted this amazing patch of Nicola potatoes was the variety, and they turned out really well for people who had never grown potatoes before. And the problem was we had nothing to harvest them with. So we put the event on social media for people to come and dig up their own potatoes. Like a lot of things on social media, it accidentally went viral and 4,000 people had clicked attending and we knew we would have nowhere near enough potatoes. So the night before the event, we went down to our local fruit barn and we bought 2,000 pounds of potatoes and filled our car with them. They were washed potatoes because we couldn't upset the masses that were coming. And so Tim and I spent the whole night, hands and knees in the dirt, burying these washed potatoes, hoping that no one would realise that they were different to the ones that we had grown. And the next morning we woke up and we had the same anxiety that we all know really well. Is anyone even going to turn up to our event? And sure enough, the cars started streaming in one by one until suddenly 4,000 people did, in fact, show up to a potato patch, which is probably about the size of this room. There were people everywhere. There were hands and knees deep in the mud digging for these potatoes. It was incredible. But the thing is, the potatoes ran out really quickly. And when they did, the people didn't leave. They stayed there playing in the mud. Adults were laughing with each other. Children were rolling around in it. And they were connected. And they were connected to each other, themselves, and connected to something they didn't even realise that they'd lost. It was a connection to being part of the living world. That was 5 years ago, 6 years ago now, and we have a team of 13 people. We never grew up a patch of potatoes ever again, but we now are regenerative farmers growing beef, chicken and eggs. And we have our team also have never farmed before, and they inspire us every day. It's mostly women. And it's a beautiful example of what happens when you invite young people back to the farm. We're all under the age of 33, which is less than half the age of farmers in the US and Australia. We process everything we grow on farm, and we invite people to come to our farm shop. People get to see it all for themselves. We don't chase any certifications. Instead, we invite people to come and see the life and the death cycle for themselves. People often ask us, how can you eat an animal that you knew? And we ask with curiosity, how can you eat something, and how can we continue to eat food and animals that we don't know? You see, it's something that the modern food system hides from us. We are part of the cycle. We are part of the living human biodiverse cycle. And that's something I'm really proud of. Because nourishment requires presence. We all know the feeling when we bite into a tomato that truly lived. You pick it off the vine, it's warm, it's juicy, you bite it, and it drips down your throat, and it tastes like literal sunshine. And that nourishment requires presence. Indigenous Australians look to the sky for meaning, direction, and guidance. But they don't look to the stars themselves, they actually look to the space between the stars, the liminal space, the relationships. And if we listen deeply enough, Mother Earth and our farm already knows her song, and it's our job to listen to her melody and join in as the harmony. And so I'd love to invite you all to look at the space between the stars and think to yourself, when was the last time I truly felt nourished? Thank you.